This is American fighter Chuck Norris.
This is WWE Hall of Famer, the hardcore legend Mick Foley.
NFL legend Steve Mariucci, and I don't start my day without coffee and cards.
Hey, what's up? It's your boy Ricky Williams, NFL legend and herbal connoisseur. And I don't ever start my day without coffee and cards.
Hosted by my buddies, the Bearded Grinch and Mike Blazin' Balliet.
The Bearded Grinch got rid of the beard. That's what that face.
Yeah, nobody wants to see that. My work, man, they tightened down on me a little bit. We're like, trim it up if you know what's good for your career. So I said, we'll do what we got to do to play the corporate game for now.
Well, you've worked hard on plumping up that face this winter in this COVID season, so you got to show it off a little bit, man.
I don't need any more fatness, man. Between my shoulder surgeries and not being able to work out, it's just I'm a donut. So I'm glad I scored a trophy wife when I had the chance, because that wouldn't happen right now.
Well, enough about us out of shape people. We got a super in shape person on the show today, Matt Dangerous. Now, what up, Matt?
How you guys doing? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, appreciate you coming on. For those of you just joining us, Matt is currently the number 9 ranked flyweight in the UFC. Big bout coming up on the 15th here with UFC 262. So we're excited to have you on and, just pick your brain for a little bit about the fight game. It has certainly come a long way from when I used to watch UFC 1 back in the day with Royce Gracie fighting 4 times in a row to win a belt. So appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, no, it's exciting to be on. I've been watching you guys and breaking with y'all for some time now. So, and I've actually been trying to facilitate this for a little bit. So happy to actually be here and make it happen, and looking forward to answering some questions and talking about the buildup. We going out there in a little less than 2 weeks now.
That's what I was going to ask. I was like, we're in perfect time because we get to talk about it a little bit. So my question to you is, you're kind of in like the zone right now, that like the couple weeks before a fight. What do you do? What's the most important thing in these next 2 weeks that you're going to do to really prep? Just stay on path, or do you do some special things?
Yeah, as I've gotten older, I've kind of learned how to taper things down a little bit as we get a little closer, because I think early on, your tendency is to just accelerate up until the date, like work as hard as you can all the way until you get there. But I feel like now, I've put in 8 weeks plus, and it's just one of those things where now I slow it down. So over the next 2 weeks, we're not doing more, we're kind of doing less, but we're focusing more on the game plan, just trying to break a sweat, get our timing down, and land on the runway nice and smooth.
Nice. Well, I know we'll just kind of level set for those that are watching, and those are going to be listening here in the future on this. But your career started before, but really kind of started to transform into what it was today. Back in 2012, you were on a little MTV show called Cage, following 4 Louisiana fighters. So tell me, to get to that point, like what goes through your mind? Like, I grew up and I wanted to be a sports agent, maybe a football player or something like that. What enters your mind to say, beating somebody up for a living sounds like a really good idea?
It just kind of progressed. It wasn't something that, like, early on I was like, I want to fight in the UFC. That wasn't how it started. It was really just kind of wanting to stay in shape. I played sports all through high school, and then when I graduated high school, I was a little bitty guy, so I wasn't recruited to play sports at the next level. So it was just a way for me to fill my time and kind of stay in shape. So I walked into a gym, started training, and then it just progressed. It turned into, I was going twice a week. I was going 4 times a week. I competed on the weekend now and then I was just doing like grappling stuff, and then I started doing MMA fights, and then from MMA fights to being one of the best in the region, and so on and so forth. So
that's pretty awesome. So we're going to field some more questions as we go, but Roger here has a question for you. He said, what inspired you and what is your motivation?
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't really have I'm not motivated per se at this point. Training and martial arts is a lifestyle, so it's just what I do. And then obviously when you've got a fight in front of you and you got a set amount of money you're trying to make, and then it's easy to be motivated, I guess. You got somebody else who's training to come and whip you. So I don't know. I think that people shouldn't rely on motivation. They should form good habits for themselves. And that's all I've done is over time, put the right things in place and form good habits. My cats.
Yeah, a tremendous amount of discipline obviously goes into what you do for sure. I have to ask, this is just a personal question for me. I know that you've got a black belt in karate, is that correct, and a purple belt in jiu-jitsu? So if given the chance, would you rather knock somebody out or choke somebody out?
Ooh, knockouts are fun. Knockouts are fun. It's like knocking in the winning run or smashing out a walk-off home run. I don't know. It's tough. They're both good, but knockouts are fun. Especially when you just do it right. Whew, there's no better feeling.
Yeah. What about being on the other end of that? I for one, and I probably imagine most of our listeners have never felt what that feels like. What does it feel like to just get smacked in the face and see those lights go out?
It really doesn't. I guess I should choose it. In the moment, it doesn't hurt. It hurts more over time as you watch it and see it over and over again. But as far as the pain right then, it's not so bad. You'll have like a headache from rough ones, but when you get into a fight, you're beat up afterwards, anyways. I don't know. Being knocked out hurts. Yeah, it's more heartbreaking than anything. But yeah,
so it's more of a pride injury than anything, is what you're saying. You feel like you're pride injury to the body.
Yeah, and it's just embarrassing. It's embarrassing to go to sleep in front of your mama, but it happens. And when you fight for a long time, and I came up doing this for real and fighting tough fights, so it's just one of them things. But like to think I've been on the giving end of it more often than on the receiving end, and yeah.
Your record reflects that 15-5. Is that right?
Yeah, 15-5 as a professional, but fought a lot of amateur fights. Box as an amateur too. So
now, where's this fight coming up right now? Rank as far as where you've been for excitement. I mean, it seems like it's really propelling you on to a new stage, a new level. Where's it ranking for all your fights so far?
It's probably definitely. I mean, I've got to be honest. It's one of the bigger ones because of the proximity. I live in Houston now. I'm from Shreveport, Louisiana, so this is pretty home turf type of fight for me. And I've lived in Houston now for 4 years, so I'm a Houston guy. So I believe that the pressure's on as far as that goes. But we had a big fight. I was supposed to fight Alex Perez, and now I'm fighting Rogerio Bontorin. So it kind of shifts in that regard just a little bit. That's a little disappointing, but still up there. Probably the biggest. Every fight's the biggest fight of my life. That's what's funny.
So I want to ask you then, how does that, when they change it, like I heard in another interview you did, you're the kind of fighter that's ready to go all the time, whether it's 6 days or 6 weeks, you're always ready to go. So I want to ask, how do you change your training? Do you do a big shift when you change fighters that you're going to fight?
No, I haven't changed much. I've kind of tried to keep the same because they are similar in some regards. This guy has to come in and take me down to beat me. So that's what I've been training for. It's a little different because they have different entries. So they're just small nuances to make adjustments with. But for the most part, just trying to stay in shape and stay healthy.
Absolutely.
Well, Chris, I'm going to step in just real quick because what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring on, we have a break ready to go, but I'm going to let Chris continue to talk to you. And for our break people, I'm going to let them just kind of see the cards, maybe every now and then set a few aside to show and then bring it up to you. But meanwhile, I know that Roger just brought up a great question. And as we get into this, I saw you posted it to the page, and man, it gave me goosebumps to see it and know you were in our group. So I can't imagine how you felt. What was the feeling when you saw that first card on the screen or in person when they showed it to you? What was the feeling you went through to see your first UFC card?
Yeah, I mean it was. I'm a geek in that way too, and my wife she thinks I'm such a dork. But I mean, it was one of the more validating moments I've had in my career as a professional athlete, I suppose, because fighting, especially, I fought 12 times as a professional outside of the UFC for peanuts. If you knew what I was making, it would break your heart. So it's good to finally be in a position to not only make money, be able to provide things for my family, but the small little boyish things as well that you dream of when you're a kid. I wanted to be a ball player, but
it wouldn't have been much better there. Those minor leaguers go through the same thing, making $20 a game, if that. So
sure.
Awesome. Well, for those, this is what we're looking for. At least that's what I'm looking for. This is my PC edition of the Prism.
Why are you not fighting him? I don't know if we found out. Why did they change the fight?
Injury. Look, I've now broken or I've done like 5 boxes of this now. I've pulled the whole flyweight division. One base card of mine. So.
Oh!
Wow!
Yeah, that'll play.
Is that good? Did we break it?
Did I have G?
Wow!
Who hit the G spot? We just hit the G spot.
Did we determine, are those still like traditional football, like 1/10 cases? I don't know if that's come out yet or not.
I don't know, but I haven't seen many. I mean, you opened a lot, and I'm sure you've seen a lot, Matt. What have you seen in that front?
I've definitely not seen one. I've maybe out of guys who break that I follow, maybe I've seen one. I think somebody hit a Kamaru Usman, but that's it. Gaethje.
Unbelievable. Nice hit for sure. So, UFC cards haven't been around forever. Where did you get started in the card collecting yourself, and what is your kind of go-to outside of the UFC as far as PC players and sports?
Yeah, I collect football cards, and I've been collecting football cards since I was 10 years old. So,
wow.
Zabit Magomed Sharipov.
Yeah, you can do the names for me. This is what I'm talking about.
He hasn't fought in a long time, but he's a gangster. He's probably got a decent market too, I would imagine.
The market for this is unbelievable. Not only because it's the first Prism. I mean, for those that aren't familiar with it, if you go back to like the first Prisms in basketball, even base cards hold a tremendous value. So I imagine when PSA opens back up, the market's going to be flooded with people sending these off. I just actually sent my first shipment off to HGA. And some of these parallels with the colors, I think, are just going to come out beautiful. Get that color blast put into a custom HGA slab. It's going to look nice.
For sure.
Now, I saw someone say put it in a mag case on a card note of things. Right now, we're just going to top load things. That is Chris's card. I'll check with people if they want it magged. I don't know how it's funny, Matt, and I don't know what all sports you collect, but it's weird how the different sports are different about the way they protect their cards. Some sports don't want their cards in mag cases. Some want them only in top loaders. How are you as a fan? How do you take care of your collection? What do you do?
Yeah, I always feel like the top loader means that's a real hit.
That's right. You got to get them magged up. So in your PC, what's your like golden card? What's your one card that you would never get rid of or never trade?
I've got some Drew Brees rookie PSA 10s that I like. Nice. I don't know. My main PC are Saints and LSU alum, and so I go after. I was going after Joe Burrow pretty hard this year. I actually got into a break with you guys, a mosaic break, and hit big, bunch of Joe Burrow, and it got lost. I don't know if Mike remembers that, but it got lost. I was talking to you guys about it a little bit, and it eventually did come back to me. But yeah, so I've been just PC and LSU guys from last year too. Justin Jefferson, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Those have been the main guys I've been going after this year. But
was that the one that went to your neighbor's box and then they showed up with it?
Yeah. Yep.
I remember that, and I didn't know who you were then, but I do remember that conversation, and just so happy because you were. This is how what a class act this dude is. He had some big stuff in there, and he's like, man, I know it's shipped, it's here, it's just not here. He goes, but it's all right, man, it's not your fault. And he was like the most laid back, and I'm like, man, what am I gonna do? And he's like, hey, my like neighbor just delivered this, or it just showed up in my box. And I'm like, man, I wish more people were like this under stress. So you can tell you handle stress well. You must have to, that must be part of being a fighter too.
Hey, it ate me up for a couple of weeks though. My wife could tell you I was going crazy.
That's funny. Well, we're going to go through some of these viewer questions here. Who along your way in the UFC's helped you out the most?
Helped me the most. You know, there's a lot of guys right now. There's a kid that fights in the UFC named Aaron Phillips, and we meet up every week. He comes through, and we go to Dallas and train, and we kind of pal around together, and he's cornered me a lot. So he fights in the UFC currently. I think he's signed to fight July 17th or something like that. So he's got a lot of fights. And also me and Poirier are real close. I moved to Gladiators in Lafayette, Louisiana in 2012 maybe, and lived there for about a year and a half. Poirier moved away to American Top Team. Mm-hmm. And I eventually went and started training an American Top Team as well.
What was that like, knowing that they're kind of one of the elite training regimes in the game?
Oh, nice color Poirier. That's sick. Ooh. That's PC.
And that's 75?
Out of 75.
Yeah.
That's sick. Very cool. Very cool.
And not to interrupt, I'm just going to throw this out there because I'm loving listening, and I'm really just going to take a backseat here and open the cards. For those of you that are in the break, don't worry. I'll always take care of it. We'll sleeve, we'll top load. If there's something that you see and you want to message me and say, hey, you only sleeve that, will you top load that? Do that. But this show's about having Matt on and looking at the cards. So I'm just going to sit back. Don't worry. I will take care of the cards after, as always.
Yeah. So who was your favorite UFC fighter that you look up to? Like, if you could pull a go-to card.
Hey, Poirier. Right there, that guy right there. He's my hero. Yeah.
Good Louisiana boy.
Louisiana guy. Yeah, we're buddies. I followed him out to American Top Team and trained there for a while, and then kind of went off and did my own thing thereafter. And Dustin still trains there. But interestingly enough, and I'm not trying to just ride on DP, but I think that if we weren't buddies, that's a nice Mojo's a beat, huh?
Oh, he's a fight away from a title shot, you think?
I need him to come back and fight. That's the thing. That's the thing. We need him to come back and fight. It's been a minute.
That's the Mojo to 35. That whoever hit that's a hold all day long. Stash that away, and I think you're going to see him in the title contention at some point. So what we're going to do, though, this is just out of me, and I just kind of sit here on the fly, but you're our first official celebrity guest on the show. So I've got these, and they're going to be in the mailbox headed your way.
Oh, wow.
You got a Poirier to 99 and a Poirier to 149. So I'm going to start the rainbow for you on the UFC Prism collection there.
Very cool. I really appreciate that, boss.
Absolutely. Have you seen, too, they have these, I guess they're the Octagon parallels. These are actually numbered to 8.
Wow.
So this is Song Keenan.
I saw him in there, but I haven't seen one yet. So.
Yeah, well, I'm a little bit stupid with my my spending on cards. Sometimes I spend more than I should, but I had to get at least a few boxes for myself just because I love ripping. Just grabbing it and ripping it. I love what Mike does. Getting breaks is phenomenal. Getting hits, but sometimes you just want to get your hands dirty.
For sure. Wow, that's big. This is a box right here, guys.
Well, our first box ended up being good. I think we got some special boxes here. They must have known you were going to be here with us to watch this. So.
I wish they would have sent me some good boxes.
Look at Jamie says the Grinch isn't Grinching. No, I'm not Grinching. I'm fanboying a little bit, man. This is I'm loving it.
I know, Chris, have you ever heard me so quiet? I'm just in awe, just listening to all the words coming out, man. I will ask you, do you have favorite fighters or a guy that you just, as your ultimate goal that you want to be up against, that's your ultimate goal right now, your number one priority?
When I got in, Demetrius Johnson was there. Now Demetrius Johnson fights ONE FC, and he just got knocked out by Adriano Moraes. Yeah, and DJ's still the greatest in my eyes, and that's somebody I always aspired to fight. But it was cool to see Adriano get it done. I trained with Adriano at American Top Team, so we used to – we were battling it out back in 2014. So it's kind of gratifying to see him and a little validating to me to see him go out there and get it done against DJ. So that was something that kind of energized me here recently and was pretty cool. So yeah, that's a guy to me that I always wanted to fight. But as far as people I'm a fan of, obviously I said Poirier. I like Gaethje. So that color glass that you guys pulled, that was pretty sick. And Mike was asking me about fights to go watch, bro. Go watch Justin Gaethje, Dustin Poirier.
Oh yeah, that was a battle.
That's a great one. Conor McGregor base card there. That's nice.
Yeah, that's $100 at least right there, 125.
That's crazy. Just his base card?
Just his base cards, yeah.
No way. I've got some nice ones. I've got some nice McGregor base cards.
Those are worth, like I said, send them off, get them graded up, and just stash them away in the vault for a while because it's just only going to go up. So let me ask you, this is a question that I had. Some people just seem to respond better, but fighters like Jose Aldo, fighters like even Conor, you throw him in there. You go back and look at Spider Silva. Like they get knocked out and they never seem to come back the same way. What is it mentally, do you think that it is that some people can do that and bounce back and others just never seem to have that edge that they used to?
Yeah, I think sometimes when somebody gets knocked out, it does shake their allure of invincibility type of thing, and it makes it easier for guys to get through. But I would say Jose Aldo's bounced back okay. I mean, he's never returned back to championship form. Other guys have kind of risen, but he's still winning fights here and there, and he still looks good now and then, though I wouldn't mind seeing him hang him up and kind of stop now while he is still looking good, because what tends to happen is guys continue to fight until they're just a shell of themselves and they lost, they've gone 2-8 in their last 10. So
yeah. Well, I imagine somebody like Conor making $600 million off the sale of his whiskey isn't going to be, pressed to jump back in there. Mike, that green card you just had on there to 75 that you just pulled, he had a big win last night. That's a good card as well.
Who was it? Oh yeah, Mareb.
He's a beast. He had a nice fight last night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he beat Cody Stamen.
Not to switch it up to football for a second, but with something you just said about waiting too long and not calling it early enough, as a Saints fan, do you think it was the right time for Brees to go? Are you happy he went? Do you wish he would have tried to stick it out a little more?
I think he just couldn't hold, his body couldn't hold up over a full season anymore, it didn't seem like. And that just tends to be what happens from time to time. He's only a human. And I think it was time for it to happen. I like what we've put in place, man. I'm telling you, I think Jameis Winston can make the offense fun. I think he can make it high flying and a vertical offense. And I expected the Saints to draft maybe a couple more offensive weapons than they did, but they do well with their offense. Sean Payton schemes it well, so I expect them to be just fine. So
he's gonna be eating his W's, I'm sure.
Yeah, eating some dubs. Hey, all we need is about 10, Jameis.
That's right. Well, and see, I think what you just said too is that's the difference between somebody. You got Brees, who is a phenomenal quarterback, probably top 5 all time, versus a Brady. Just the hit factor, right? Like Brady never gets touched, whether it's allowed, whether it's not, and Brees takes some hits. So, I mean, I think that's the difference. If you can stay upright as a quarterback, your longevity is in your own hands.
Yeah, definitely. These two guys here are my teammates, Uriah Hall and Ryan Spann. They both train at Fortis MMA with me. Uriah Hall, who just broke Chris Weidman's leg.
That was just disgusting.
Yeah, that was hard to watch.
The worst was when he didn't realize it happened, so he stepped back on the broken leg.
Yeah.
That just saw pictures of it. Now that's something. Now, how have you ever? What's the worst injury you've ever sustained yourself?
I've been lucky. I've been really lucky. I haven't had many bad injuries for the most part. I've gotten sick and mismanaged weight cuts and done things like that. But for the most part, I've been healthy. Knock on wood.
So this is a question. how is Uriah feeling about that? How is that? Like, how is that in the psyche of a fighter? Like when that happens and you're, on the other end of it.
I'm sure it shook him a little bit. But it's not his fault. He actually did the right thing. He checked the kick, and that's why guys have to, that kick, that calf kick that guys have been throwing, it's just been taking the sport over. So that's the first time we've really seen what can go wrong if somebody answers the question correctly. So people should beware with that calf kick.
That's an interesting way to put that. That's crazy.
Yeah, and it's not something that anybody, it's not the way you intend or want the fight to go for sure, but we see it all the time where there's, eye pokes or, last night there was the up kick that ended that fight.
It's not even that. Hey, this guy here, Giga Chikadze, he had a big win last night, this rookie card. He beat he beat Cub Swanson, so it was a big step up, big win for him.
So here's a question for you from Roger. Who would you take in a future fight between Colby versus LeBron?
Well, Colby Covington would murder LeBron James 100 times out of 100 times every single time.
I believe that fully. That's why you start getting into the conversations with like the Jake Paul and the whole boxing thing, which, listen, he's making his money. He's doing what he's got to do. Great. Yeah. But, he's not fighting a true fighter. He hasn't yet. Not to take anything away from Askren, but if that was in a cage, it's a completely different scenario for sure.
Yeah, they're boxing, but people got to relax, man. Jake Paul's got the whole thing, the whole community in a ruckus, and he's just laughing his way to the bank. So, I mean, at the end of the day, relax.
Yeah, how much are you buying into the whole Cormier
until he signed? Well, Cormier did the right thing just by being like, yo, MMA fight. I'll fight you, but it's going to be an MMA fight. I think that's fair. That's fair. And Jake Paul's his argument there isn't a good one. So until he comes up with a good one, then I think we should leave it at that.
Well, let me ask you, there should be a run back of McGregor and Mayweather and just put it in a ring, put it in the octagon this time and run that back.
Well, I do want to ask, it's easy from like, us standing out here and being like, oh, that's cool, Logan Paul's fighting, or what a tool. But from a technical standpoint and where you've seen him progress, do you feel like he's actually is putting in any effort and trying to get better? Do you guys in the fighting realm have a little bit of respect for what he's trying to do and change it up a little bit, or is he a complete joke?
No, I think he can fire some punches. I mean, he can punch. No doubt about it. I think he dedicates time towards boxing. He has resources, so he can actually, put effort, and he's getting instruction from really good boxing coaches. So, I think he can box for sure.
Well, we've seen the crazy stuff he does. It's not like he has a lot of fear to him. So, I mean, the guy's not afraid to come in there and get his ass handed to him. So,
sure. Yeah, and he is. He probably will, because the way he's doing it, he wants to continue to progress with tougher and tougher opponents. Or that's at least what he seems to be saying. Let's see who he matches himself up with next. But yeah, I mean, and to be honest, what he says, the things he's saying isn't that wrong either. When he talks about MMA guys not being able to box, he's not telling a lie. A large percentage of MMA guys don't box particularly well, and that's, they're able to get away with it because we wear small gloves and you can throw punches in a obscure way, and as long as they find the chin and shake the brain, it's okay at the end of the day. So he's not wrong in saying that, but he's wrong in saying all MMA, because, bro, I can chuck these hands around. I boxed a little bit. I didn't box as much as I would have liked to because I was fighting MMA, but I boxed 5 amateur fights. I fought twice at a Louisiana State Golden Gloves, won that. I fought 3 times in a Mid-South Regional Golden Glove in Little Rock, Arkansas. Won all. So I went 5-0 as an amateur boxer, and I can freaking box. So
yeah. And he's doing it the right way, right? Boxing, unfortunately, that's kind of where the money's at. So if you're a UFC fighter and he's going to call your name out, like Ben did, why not go and get a nice payday and come back? What are your thoughts on that? That kind of pay gap or discrepancy between like the world of boxing versus MMA?
Well, it's not a fair argument because what they failed to like. For one thing, Triller, there's no way they made money at this point. They're just trying to break even and like build a brand or something. I don't know exactly, but they're not in the stage right now where they're actually trying to turn a profit. I don't think because what are the rest of the guys on the card? What are they making? I'm sure they've got paid pretty well, but I don't know. Something like Triller couldn't put on 52 events a year and pay the guys like they pay the guys, So you have to like look at the picture for more than it is. Not only that, but Jake Paul rants about like I make more than any MMA fighter ever has. And it's like, well, dude, you're more of a celebrity than any MMA fighter ever has been too, and you turn the numbers. Like, what do you mean? What are you saying? And you're attacking Dana White, but Dana White has 585 fighters on the roster who make livings every year. Right. A guy like me couldn't exist in a Triller world because nobody would tune in. It would just be too, I don't talk enough shit. I don't have enough, music videos out there, whatever. It's just, like I don't know what people's alternative is, but the UFC is – maybe it could clean stuff up. Maybe they're and it's about to go public, and we'll see. I think that will be result in more financial. You'll be able to see the picture a little better and tell where the money's going a little better, I suppose. But well,
I'll tell you, things like this that Panini's doing and putting out this product are only going to help to benefit the UFC and the fan base. I mean, card collectors that have never seen it before are going to get involved in it. So hopefully we'll see that world kind of expand. And to your point, not everybody can be a Conor McGregor. Like Conor McGregor's Conor McGregor because he can do what he does. It's natural to him. And that shouldn't be the goal. It's not show business. You're out there putting your life on the line every week. But those guys are few and far between. So, I mean, I like the approach that you take with it. And I've heard some of your interviews where you said, it's not all about that, and that's not the goal for everybody.
Yeah, and as far as the pay discrepancy too, you've got to think about there is no UFC in boxing. There is no promotion there is no structure like that holds up the entire sport. And that doesn't exist because of the way that the pay is organized in boxing. So you take one, you give the other. Only the top 0.5% of people who have ever boxed ever has made a decent payday boxing.
Right.
So,
well, and we know that you need to make money because you are on the record for saying that you are a trophy husband. So Chris brought that to light from an interview. So we know that you have to make that paper.
I got to make the money or my beautiful wife will just up and vamoosh one day.
Right. As a stay-at-home dad, you called yourself. I thought that was hilarious.
That's right. All the chores in the world around the house won't keep her home. I still got to bring home a little paper.
That's funny. Well, another thing that's gaining in popularity along with the UFC is the WWE, and now in the world of cards, that's kind of breached over. Were you ever a fan of wrestling at all?
Yeah, when I was a kid, loved wrestling. Of course, I came up in the WCW, NWO. What was that? WWF. That was the Attitude time.
The Attitude era.
The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin. And I watched wrestling when I was a kid. I think that was my first kind of introduction into combat somewhat. So yeah, for sure.
Something you would ever what do you see yourself doing beyond UFC? Like when it's time to hang up the gloves, is a move to as you've said, you got a pretty face. Is it acting? Is it, maybe some WWE stuff? Like, what would you like to do beyond UFC?
Marvin Vettori is about to fight for the title. This guy's about to fight Israel Adesanya. I don't think I have the frame to do WWE. If I was 6 foot, maybe I could get on enough steroids to kind of fill it out a little bit. So probably
there's a Rey Mysterio for everybody. Don't cut yourself short.
Hey, yeah, I guess so. But even all the steroids he's had to do, come on. I don't know, alien type levels of steroids. But I don't know. I've been dabbling in commentary. Like I was in St. Louis, Missouri this weekend, commentating some fights and training a little bit out there. So I've kind of been dabbling in that in hopes that maybe one day things lead to me doing that, commentating fights for a living. That'd be fun.
Good. You and Bisbing, you can trade the Louisiana accent for the British accent. That'd be a good show.
Ooh, yeah, I think we get along okay. But yeah, I enjoy coaching too, and I've got a little crew of guys here in Texas, and we just roam this region and whip everybody's ass. So
nice. So Roger's asking you, who is your favorite female fighter?
My favorite female fighter, man, it's hard to say anybody but Amanda Nunes because she just murders everybody, and that's a lot of fun to watch. I've also been on the mat with Amanda Nunes too. So, man, this is a good box. Nate Diaz.
Loves Nate Diaz. He's fighting, right?
Yeah, he's fighting on the same card as I am.
That's going to be a big card. I can't wait.
Got a tough fight. Got a tough fight. I got to sell my Nate Diaz auto before that fight.
You know, it's funny. It's like last night I was watching. I've got a couple on eBay, and as fighters were fighting, people are throwing in low ball offers, and then when the fighter wins, people are trying to jump. It's crazy. It's like the stock market. And UFC cards, it's going to be, one fight you win, your stock goes up. If they lose, they go down. It's crazy.
Man, I wish these guys would slow down on my market. I think because they know I collect. I wanted to get in on this case break, but I got distracted a little bit. I meant to bid on it, and it ended at a reasonable price. God dang it all! So
wait, is that the one that I got outbid on that I showed you?
No, it's a different one. This one just ended for $76. It's a full.
Oh, that's a steal. The one I was bidding on, I was watching for a few days for you, and it was at $56 with 3 seconds left. I put $100 in real quick, and it went up for like $135 or whatever. I said I was so frustrated. I was like, I'll definitely get it for $100. Like,
sure.
That's funny. I think what's going to happen with this is going in waves. Like right now, there's an initial pop where some stuff is selling for crazy prices.
Yep.
The market's going to settle a little bit, but then you get a year down the road when this is still the first flagship product. These prices are just going to sustain.
And as these fighters continue to progress, because people like Michael Chandler might win the title. Michael Chandler, oh shoot, what happened?
You're good.
We got you here.
You guys still hear me and see me?
Yep.
Okay, there we go. Michael Chandler's a rookie in this product. He could win the title the night I fight. There's a lot of guys whose stock could rise over time. Guys that nobody even cares about. That they're going to store away in a shoebox, and then 5 years from now they're going to be the champ. They're going to have to go dig these cards out. So that's what's cool about it. That's what's fun. And I think Panini's done a decent job. And this product's I've really enjoyed it. I've really, really enjoyed it.
Well, let me ask you real quick with your experience. Now, have you had any experience with Panini and seeing what their process is? Tell us a little bit about that if you can.
Yeah, I got to go and tour Panini and hang out. When was it? A couple months ago, and I signed all the stickers, and so I will have autographs. I don't have one in this product. Maybe I'll have some in the Prism retail. I was thinking maybe, who knows. But I do know that at some point, like Select or something, they will start having autographs. And I'm supposed to have on-card autos. Francis Ngannou, champ of the world.
That's a big card right there. Baddest man right now. You think him and John Jones will ever happen? The money going to get there?
I hope it does. I'd tune in. I
think it could be potentially Jones's, I say, second loss because I love John Jones, but Alexander Gustafsson got him.
Shoot, you thought he lost that fight. I think that Ngannou could hurt John Jones. I think he could hurt him. This guy won a big one last night. That's it. That's another guy right there. Nice silver. He's on the rise. He'll fight for the title next.
Hey, Chris, we're having a little bit of static with your mic. I don't know if you switched something up or what, but I wanted to bring it up. So go ahead. What are you telling us about this, Matt? I'm sorry not to interrupt you there.
He won a big fight last night. Spinning back elbow knockout. It was insane. And he's fighting for the title next.
That going out to Dougie.
It's a nice card.
All right. Well, Matt, we're going to close up here because we're going to do the next box. But any other quick questions, Matt? First of all, we thank you so much, so much for coming on. We'd love to have you on again. Honestly, but just hearing all your information real quick, I wanted to ask you follow up. You said you're going to have on-card autos. What set did you sign? I have to ask.
They haven't sent them yet. So those are yet to come. Yeah. and I know that because after I sign those, I get paid.
Yeah,
All right.
you just said Select, so that had you got my attention right there. That's my favorite product of all time. So
Yeah, I know they're going to do Select, and they're also going to do Select. They're also going to do Chronicles. I'm pretty sure.
nice.
Well, we
Awesome.
and the reason, not to push Matt off, but we kind of promised him we'd only hold him for about 45 minutes, and we're hitting that. And you don't want to hold someone too long and then never want to come back to your house. So we don't.
Well, they don't come beat our asses, so we don't want that. But listen, Matt, we love having you here. We would love to have you on for a future show. Maybe we can do like a guest breaker thing. But hear some more stories, and I'm sure everybody that's watching would love it. So, anything you need to plug, promote? You got a website, anything like that you want to throw out there?
No, yeah, I appreciate you guys talking to me. Keep on letting everybody know the fight's May 15th, Houston, Texas, UFC 262. I think I'm going to be on the ESPN portion of the undercard, so I'm not going to be on the pay-per-view. If you don't want to buy the pay-per-view, but you sure could, that'd be all right too. And yeah, let's go.
Sounds like we're gonna have a watch party, Mike. We're gonna have to do a UFC break watch party.
Oh, my brain's already stirring, and Matt's getting me single-handedly in the UFC between this product coming out and him doing this. The guys were making fun of me, man. They're like, I'm usually always the one talking. They're like, Mike, close your mouth. I guess I was gaping the whole time just listening to you, man. You have me captivated.
And for people who are fans, like I would say, encourage these guys. Like it's cool that people are breaking cards. I saw, diehard fans get upset because certain guys don't know the names. I mean, these names are difficult. Like I watch fighting and these names are difficult, but be patient. And I think this is cool because it's bringing a whole new fan base into the sport of MMA. More people are going to get interested into MMA because of these cards. So it's cool. Be encouraging, have fun with it. Let people make mistakes. It's no big deal. It's actually cool. It's all good.
Nice. Well, text me your address. We'll get these Poiriers over to you.
Dude, I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Happy to do it.
For those of you that were on the break, I will get pictures of this. I appreciate those of you who are in the break letting us do it this way. A very special occasion, but that's not our normal thing. So I will do something special, get all pictures of all color, all hits and stuff taken care of too. So don't worry about that. And if you're in number 2, we'll be doing that live here in a little bit on our regular channel then.
All right. Matt, appreciate it. Good luck on the 15th. Everybody will be tuning in and praying all goes well.
I appreciate you guys. Thanks.
All right. Take care.